Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sports Card Advantage podcast. It is July 9th, 2022 at 9:09 p.m. This is episode 67 coming at you as always. The man with the plan, Mr. Bunk. What's going on, buddy?
Not much, Jeff. How we doing?
I am fantastic. But not really. But that's a story for another day. We're here to talk about sports cards. So we will jump right in here. And
Yeah, a little bit to talk about today over the last 24 hours.
Yeah, we got once again some more controversy for the hobby, but don't get ahead of ourselves here. Let me take care of Sports Card Advantage podcast business.
Your favorite part.
Yeah, my favorite part of the show. So ISA grading giveaway. That email went out to everybody that won with the coupon code. So congratulations to those people. The T-shirt giveaway. Unfortunately, with everything that I'm dealing with for my health stuff, I have not had time to get that organized. I'm going to do the best I can to do that before I get in for surgery. So we may just do the drawing off air and then send out emails to everybody. But we'll keep you posted on that via email. Upcoming schedule. So next week we are going to have the fantastic owner of Nash Cards, Chris Nash, on the show. We will be doing that interview Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So if you do have questions that you'd like us to ask Chris from Nash about card shops, card shows, grading, whatever, please send us those emails, info@sportscardadvantage.com. We will make sure to ask him any questions we get submitted and get those on the show. That episode will go live on the 16th. Bunk is doing his solo episode the following week. So once again, if you have questions for Bunk, please help provide him some fuel and some content. So send us your questions on that. Info@sportscardadvantage.com.
I sense you're a little worried.
I am incredibly worried. So we've been on a little bit of a roll here. The audience is growing. We got some momentum going, and all of a sudden, I leave you alone, and I don't even get a chance to pipe in on this at all because I'll be in the hospital. So I'm slightly concerned that the ship's gonna go awry while I'm gone.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do.
Yeah. So yeah, get some questions in for Bunk. That will be the 23rd. The week of the 30th, we will be off. Bunk will be at National, and it is also his anniversary weekend. And then I will also be recovering from surgery, so I'm not going to do a solo episode that week unless I'm feeling feisty, and in which case you may get a surprise solo episode. Otherwise, we will be completely off the week of the 30th and then return on our regularly scheduled programming. The 6th, Bunk will give us his national recap and, go over everything. Speaking of national, if you're going to be at national, you have any interest in meeting up with Bunk, send us an email, info@sportscardadvantage.com. You'll be there what days? Have you figured that out yet?
Most likely all on the show floor all day Friday and most of the day Saturday, if not all day Saturday.
Okay, so there you go. The 29th and 30th, Bunk will be at National representing good old Sports Card Advantage. So if you want to meet up, definitely send us an email. I think that's it. You got any Sports Card Advantage podcast business there, sir?
No. Let's go.
All right, awesome. So let's jump in. Another week, another controversy, more quality control issues. So this week, it's not Panini, even though we will get into more quality control issues with Panini here in a little while. Topps is the company in question today. There was an issue with a dual auto card with was it Austin Meadows?
And
And
Randy Rosarena.
yeah, and Randy Arozarena. The card appears to be signed by the same signature, by the same person. Tops has admitted fault, I believe. I'm going to actually read the statement from Tops.
Yeah. Let me jump to the quote that I'm gonna have an issue with when you read this right off the bat.
Okay.
We believe the autographs are not of the players pictured. That was their comment. Can you be more vague? Clearly, it's the autograph. I mean, it's the autograph of the player, but obviously the player didn't sign it. Like they didn't say the player didn't sign it, which is what they should have said. They went the other way.
All right.
And then, like usual,
Let
they hide
me.
behind COVID and blame protocols. And
Okay,
go
good.
ahead, read the
Yeah, let
statement.
me read the fucking statement, and then you can jump in. All right, here we go. Dear Tops fans, Tops has been made aware of the questions regarding the authenticity of the 2022 Tops definitive baseball dual auto of Austin Meadows and Randy Arozarena, and we believe the autographs are not of the players pictured. While these types of issues are exceedingly rare, we take this extremely seriously and will work with customers holding this card to make the situation right. To that end, each and every customer that has received this card will be sent a full replacement box of 2022 Definitive Baseball and a replacement card or a card of equal value. We're asking consumers, blah blah blah, it's, what to do to get your replacement. Both Fanatics and Tops care deeply about our consumers and will continue to prioritize the fan experience. Um, Okay. Oh, yeah. So, yeah. So, your other statement, they say, we are confident this is an isolated issue limited to less than 50 cards and result from adjustments made to our autograph procurement process as a result of COVID protocols. We are strengthening our procurement and quality control processes to avoid these situations altogether going forward. Rant away, sir. Go for it.
No, it's just there's a lot to unpack here. It's like, okay, well, at the end of the day, the fault's got to lie on top. Now, but what I want to know is how this was allowed to happen in the first place. I mean, again, it starts from they say it's been witnessed by whatever, but from what I understand, a clubhouse attendant, a coach, another player can be the witness of a player signing. So it doesn't always have to be a tops representative. And I'm sure in COVID days they're just gonna say, oh well, it's just not possible to send someone there to whatever.
Well,
So
I mean, to me, the shadiest part here is not the representative or whoever's watching. The fact that it looks like the same person signed for both people.
right. Some initial speculations, which I thought was a good thought, was was it like a sample card? Like here's where you put the autograph because every now and then someone doesn't know where to sign the card and they sign in weird places. But I don't believe that's the case at all.
But it looks like there's multiple copies that have been found.
Oh no, 100%.
Yeah.
So because there's a couple things here. So Meadows got traded to the Tigers. So I don't know the time frame on when these cards are sent to the players. So for they each have individual autos in the set. And those autos, I looked them up, all look like the normal signature. But when it came to the dual card, I don't know if it's because they were now separated or it was harder to get done or somebody at Tops forgot to send them out or didn't know what to do because there were two players on two different teams now,
So
blah,
he
blah,
just
blah.
signed them
So we just signed.
himself.
I don't know. That seems like the most plausible explanation, doesn't it?
I mean,
Like
if that's
I don't think
actually accurate, that is incredibly scary as far as that's
it
concerned.
is, but if I'm Tops, I feel like they should know that. Like they should know the protocols and went into how this card got approved to be put in the set, and then they could come out and say, "Yeah, we found a bum employee. He screwed up. We're sorry. We're gonna make it right. He's been relieved of his position." But
Yeah,
that hasn't come out. They're not telling us all that.
I have no issues with actually the way Top slash Fanatics handled it as far as replacing, giving them a new like a brand new box,
Replace card and a new
and
box.
yeah, I'm completely fine with them stepping up and doing that. The thing that scares me is how this got past their quality control. How and it calls into question every and now you're looking at every other autograph like, is this a possibility that this is not real? I mean, because that leads to the next scenario that is being circulated right now. There's a Chipper Acuna dual auto, and the Acuna auto looks different than it normally does. And so now people are like, well, is this the same situation, as the Rosarena Meadows issue?
Yeah, I mean, I think people are deep diving. I know. I mean, listen, earlier autos of certain players definitely look different than later autos. That's 100% a thing. You can see differences in Bryce Harper and a bunch of other players. Especially in the earlier going, they have less to sign. In the later going, if they're popular, they have more to sign, so they rush more. The auto changes over time. Couple other things I just read, like literally before we went online, someone posted a great point in one of the discords. Some people when they have a smaller place to sign get a little bit more slow and sign smaller. So Acuna, if you know his auto, he does real big
Yeah.
RA and he scribbles on a big open card. But when a smaller area comes into play, sometimes they sign smaller. People are also comparing like full name signatures, like when people put their first, middle, and last name and how their autograph changes when they do that. Uh, Rosarena happens to have done that and has legit autos of his full name where it looks the kind of script you saw that maybe Topps employee did. I mean, it wasn't him that did it, but I mean, there are definitely reasons why autographs change. But to your point, yeah, now everyone's pulling out their autographs and wondering what the hell's going on.
Yeah. I mean, and it's not just this one product. Now you're looking at everything. I mean, now it's just like, now you're looking at the handwriting of these two autos and the handwriting of whoever may be on your card and comparing, do they look similar? I mean, it to me, it calls into causes for concern the reputation of everything that comes out of the Topps product now. I mean, is it more than likely everything you got real? Probably. But, this means to me that there is somewhere, somehow, that A, the quality control failed, and B, um, that there is a possibility. Like, this brings that shadow of a doubt. And how the hell can this have possibly happened is my question. I
Well, I
mean,
mean, I think the main positive is Topps recognized how bad this is. And the fact that they're sending out another 70K in boxes plus replacement cards tells you how bad it really is. There's no way I would have thought they'd replace a box.
how much do those
Uh,
boxes cost?
2K each.
Oh, those are the 2K Tops boxes that just came out?
Yes,
Oh, wow.
yes.
Okay.
So that just gives you an idea of the how Topps is doing this in the magnitude of the issue here.
Well, I mean, the cost for Tops is minimal. I mean,
Right. Well, they don't they don't miss a beat 100%, but still the perception amongst the public is wow, replacement box and card, well done.
yeah, I mean,
That's the PR they want at this point.
once again, I have no issues whatsoever with how Tops handled the situation and the make good. Like that, I think is, I mean, shit, Panini ain't doing anything for their freaking garbage quality, which we'll get to in a
Yeah,
second.
they're
But
awful.
you know like the make good is fantastic. It's more just how does it happen, and then is there other situations. I want to know more, you know instead of just throwing, basically Tops is throwing money at the problem. I want to know more is how it happened. That's honestly, I think that Tops is probably not going to tell people how it happened, but that's more of like, if it was a shit employee that didn't do their job, or the clubhouse attendant signed it because these guys were never in the same place at the same time, fine. Like, that's great. Just tell us. So it's just like, we know that this is an isolated situation versus, anytime we don't have somebody here to sign it and we're against the deadline because of whatever reason, we just have somebody sign it ourselves and send it out. Like, you gotta let people know what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way that's happening. To be intentionally fraudulent at top, you got multiple Tops employees signing autographs. I mean, if you told me it did happen and have
Some
proof, would I be shocked? No, but
somebody signed. I mean, if you look at the handwriting, the same person signed these
I
50
would,
cards.
yeah. I mean, I'm not a handwriting expert, but it sure as heck looks like
It's
somebody signed the, both names.
Yeah, I'm not Steve from PSA on freaking Pawn Stars here, but yes, you can easily see the handwriting is the same. And, so that's what I'm saying. Somebody signed that and it wasn't either one of them, because the autograph doesn't match either one of them, their
No, and
normal autographs.
some people are trying to be upset with the players. I go, I don't think those two guys even saw these cards. I don't think they ever touched them.
Yeah. I
There's
mean,
there's no shot. And plus, all accounts is Austin Meadows is like the nicest, gracious signer in the world. He signs everything someone puts in his face, and there's just no way. I think he would. The players were fraudulent in this case.
yeah.
We had that whole Dak Prescott, auto pen incident. Last year's WWE product, there was people complaining that there was definitely fake autos in that, and
Luca's
you know,
the Luca mom
yeah, the
controversy.
Luka mom. I believe it was Sasha Banks on the WWE autos. Yeah, it's not good because now you're just questioning everything.
Yeah, it tarnishes a high end product, and now people are on the lookout, and unfortunately now if you're buying an auto out of this product secondhand, does it affect the value? Are you calling into question? It's like if there's a Wander auto that comes out of this product, does that take a hit? As a rookie auto because you're calling into question the validity of it.
Well, let me ask you this: say Definitive had a Series 2 later this year, you think it sells out at 2,500 a box?
No, I
You
mean,
don't think so? I think it does in a heartbeat. Until people stop buying and paying these prices. Definitive 4 years ago was
yeah,
$500.
yeah. I mean,
$500, and
and
now it's 2K.
and I mean that's what I was going to bring up in a bit with Panini. But yeah, it's the hobby in general. Until people speak with their wallets and stop buying and stop being fucking sheep and paying these exorbitant prices for boxes, then they're just going to continue to print and not care and collect money. I mean,
Well,
right now the gravy train is rolling down the track, and they're just going to keep scooping it all up until people stop buying.
but if secondary market values don't directly relate to box prices, I
It
mean, who
doesn't. It
who who
doesn't seem.
continues to buy it all?
It
Just people
doesn't
with
seem to
disposable
matter.
income?
You fucking collectors, is probably what, or just. I
I'm not
mean,
buying these
I
boxes.
mean,
I'd love to have a box of Definitive, but I can't buy a box of Definitive.
yes, please. If you ever do, invite me over when you tell the wife that you spent $2,000 on a box of cards. I would love
No, no.
to be
That
sitting in the
comes
living room when that happens.
no pun intended, but that comes to the box with me.
Yeah,
Never happened.
that would be hidden in the garage somewhere.
That's all right. If I decide to buy one in 2 years, it'll be 3K a box. So I'll
I,
start saving now.
I mean, at some point that there has to hit a breaking point, and people have to. I mean, has it literally just become buying for the sake of trying to hit the lottery tickets, and you don't hit it, and then you just literally try to get back as much as you possibly can on the secondary resale
The
market?
majority of people can't do that. Unless you're telling me that the majority of people buying into all these high end breaks are just have all the disposable income in the world and it doesn't matter to them.
Somebody's buying all these boxes, dude.
I know they are, which
And
is why they're going to continue to print and the prices are never to come down.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is if you have breakers that don't have access to distribution, and you got these guys that are buying boxes and breaking over retail, and people are just buying into breaks, which is always possible. And breaking is everybody breaks, and there's more and more guys that are coming around all the time. With things like Whatnot and whatever else that are out there, people are just going to continue to
Yeah.
try to
Plus
become
people
breakers.
Plus, people don't do enough homework on some of these products that they're buying into, like you pick your teams and stuff. There's usually 3 or 4 teams that the breaker is making most of their money back on,
Yeah.
and oftentimes, if you look at the checklist, the high end hits of the player you're chasing from that team is like a 1 in a million shot that they even come out. It's not like you're going to get a whole bunch of this one player or a whole bunch. It's like 1 in a million. Yet you're still paying for that lotto ticket.
Yeah.
And you're
Because
still
the
paying too much for the crap teams too. But
because they see every day on Instagram and Twitter the hits from the breaks and think that it's possible. So it's like
yep.
you have so you're saying there's a chance, and it's like just keep handing over money. I don't know where the money comes from. Like I do pretty well financially, and I would not be able to afford to buy into all of a lot of these breaks on a regular basis. I mean, Prizm case breaks for football are you're talking $500-600 a spot. And it's like some of these people are buying in break after break after break. I couldn't afford to spend 2 to 3K a month on breaks, especially if I'm not making any of that back.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And the majority of people aren't keeping all these cards. In fact, the majority of these people don't even want all the cards.
Yeah.
To your point, they're just trying to hit the lotto.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with this whole situation. We'll see what happens. I'm curious to see if this Acuna chipper dual auto gets any steam because I guess supposedly he has some autos that look similar, but it doesn't look like his normal auto. So I want to see if that gets any.
It, that won't be the last example over the next 7 days
Yeah.
of people questioning. I'm, I went and looked. He has that has been confirmed as a legit autograph of his. Uh, and it is a smaller space on the card, to my point earlier, but it is a 2022 product, so I would have expected him to just scribble on it, but
Yeah.
who knows? Listen, at the end of the day, Topps is guaranteeing every auto in their product. So at the end of the day, this is on Topps. I think they've recognized that this was an epic
Failure.
fail, and they're taking care of it. By hooking up the people that were affected here, but still, to your point, I want to know how it happened. Like, I need peace
Yeah.
of mind at how it happened and why and what you're going to do to fix it.
Yeah. I mean, well, what they're gonna do? Yeah. Not what you're gonna do to
So
fix
it
it, but
doesn't
what are you
happen
gonna do
again.
so it doesn't happen again? Yeah. I
Right.
mean, that's exactly correct. And I think you're right. I think there is no shot in hell. Tops threw money at the problem. You're gonna get one public statement, and unless somebody else finds another autograph that's faulty, um, then Tops is not gonna say another word about it.
Well, that's just it. Because they went so over the top in taking care of the problem with money, that buys
Yeah.
them the opportunity. One public statement, it's going to go away, and everyone go back to buying as
Yeah,
normal.
yeah, and like any other controversy that's been in this hobby, 3 or 4 days later, everybody fucking forgets about it and just forgives and just continues to move on. Which bothers me the most about this is the lack of accountability, and that will lead me into our next topic. And once again, we are talking about quality control. 2021-22 Prism Basketball has come out, and it doesn't appear that they've done any better of a job with the quality of the product in basketball than they did in football. And the funny part about the basketball side of things is the fact that it's more expensive the basketball boxes are more expensive than football.
What do those run?
I'm almost positive they're like 1800 a box.
Wow.
Let's see, 2022. That's WNBA. No, that's not what we want. Hold on.
Free.
2021. I'm on Steel City right now, so I'm gonna look up box prices here.
It's probably sold out.
It might be.
That would be the sad thing.
Come on, box. Let's go Prizm Basketball. Too many fucking check boxes here. So a case of 12 is 16,500.
I need a calculator, guy. You're the math in the head guy.
I'm not that good off the top of my head. 1370. Oh, so they must have lowered the price because I think originally when this came out, it was like 1600 a box, 1700 a box, and Prism Football was like 1500. But I think they must have lowered the price on all of this. I'm curious at what the Prism Football is looking like.
No, it was north of 15. I remember you talking about it.
Yeah. What the hell? Why don't they make this easy to find? 2021 football cards.
Got to use the old Google search, guy. Pops right up.
I guess. Probably. That's Prism No Huddle. Jesus Christ. 2021 Panini Prism Football Hobby Pack, 150 bucks. Kiss my ass.
Yeah, there you
So
go.
2021 Panini Prism Football Hobby Box still charging 1500.
Here's the yellow goat parallel of top offensive lineman. You can sell for $8.
Prizm Basketball hobby box. Here we go. All right. Yeah, we're gonna go to your strategy of Google. So yeah, on Midwest cards is they're selling for the same 1500. Steel City also 1500, marked down from 1900.
Yeah, so there you go. So maybe the initial demand wasn't there,
It's
and they had to.
possible. I mean, so going to the same point that we made about football a couple weeks ago when it came out, the quality control is not there. The centering on these cards is awful. I was watching Instagram Pull Kings. They pulled like a sick Mobley card, and the thing literally had to have been 80-20 or 90-10 off center, and like they're like, oh my god, it's and then you look at the back of the
Shaking
card.
it.
You
Can't
look at
tell what the centering is.
you look at the back of the card, and the thing is so far off center, and it's just like, how are you getting excited about this? And how do you possibly get hyped up if you paid hundreds of dollars to get into this break and actually got lucky enough to pull a card that would help you make your money back and then some, but the card is so far off center and the quality is so poor. That's like, how do you, like, where does the joy come from?
Well, let's be fair. While I think the number of people who are sending stuff to get graded has certainly increased over the last couple of years, I still think the majority of people getting a card out of a break, they're either just looking to resell or it's going into their PC. I don't think they're looking at it as, okay, yeah, it's off center, but they're not looking at it as, well, that's not going to gem, so now I've lost money.
Yeah, but not even that though. If you're buying a card raw,
Well, yeah, I wouldn't buy it if I saw that online. I wouldn't buy it. Right?
so like if you're buying a card raw and naked eye it's close or looks centered, you're gonna pay more money than looking at a card
Yeah,
and
it's going to go for less than it should. Yeah,
yeah,
I get it.
and
I know.
that's the thing. And so I would consider in the hobby world Prism a high end luxury product. It's not the highest of the end, but it's definitely a higher end than most product.
Well, it's highly sought after. Yeah, regardless of the price point,
And
people like it.
there's absolutely no accountability whatsoever and no quality control and there's no way to there's no recourse. It's like if there was, let me think of a Lexus car would probably be a good example to Prism. It's not the highest end, but it's a popular car and it's more expensive than most. And if 50 to 60% of the Lexuses that were manufactured had some sort of defects to them, Lexus would be out of business, or I have some sort of warranty or recourse to go get myself what I paid for. And if I buy a box and 50% of the cards in the box are off center, and I have no way to get any kind of recourse or money back or whatever else, like, to me, that's fucked up. Like,
No, agreed. And think of all the people that stash wax on their shelves. I'm not gonna. You can't stash 2021 Prism basketball and football because when you go to sell it, and we know the QC issues from these products, you can't get top dollar for that. If people are looking to pull a high end card and get it graded that's been sitting on a shelf for 10 years.
can you though? Because people just continue to blindly hand over money. Like, I mean, these
Well,
things, these
and again, that's why
boxes.
these problems aren't going to get
Yeah,
fixed.
I mean, these boxes are selling out, and people are buying them, and there's. And I also think another theory that I have is there's less quality cards available on eBay because the pricing of grading has come down. So people are taking shots
Sending everything.
on, yeah, everything. I mean, now
And this
PSA.
$18 national promo is going to be a disaster.
Yeah, so PSA announced that you can send in a minimum of 20 cards for 18 bucks a piece. It's a 5-month turnaround or less, and it's $18. So it's just like if I have a stuff and it's like if I think there's even a chance.
Just in time for Valentine's Day.
Yeah. I mean, if you think there's even a chance, you're gonna take the risk on 18 bucks and send it in, or you have your $30 price point for normal, and I think a
I mean,
lot.
there's still declared value minimums, though. No, like you're not sending high end stuff into that.
Yeah, but you could declare the value at whatever. I mean, especially with the new products, you can declare the value at less than the minimum,
J-
and
and just
then
pay the upcharge.
exactly, and just pay the upcharge for whatever it comes back. I mean, some of these cards, if you send it in as a PSA 7, there's no market. Like,
Yeah, so I guess essentially it's a cheap raw card review, right? I could send in a high end card and they say, "Oh, this thing's a friggin' 9 and it's worth $1,000. You're gonna pay $50 for this card, or you're gonna pay $100 for this card." I
yeah,
guess you'll do it at that point.
yeah. I mean, basically, and if it comes back a PSA 7, and some of these
I
new
don't know if it works
products,
that way, but
some of these new products, there is no PSA 7, so there's no market. So it's just like, I think a lot more people are sending that stuff in, but to me, until there is some sort of hobby police better than card porn, because those guys only have so much reach and so much teeth as far as what they can do.
they reach enough that you should pull
Yeah,
back the reins on a lot of these things, and
yeah,
it just
but they
doesn't
can't
happen.
they can't hold Panini accountable and say
Oh, of
start
course,
giving people refunds. Like, I mean, they
but
don't.
they reach enough people that can say, "I'm not buying this."
Hmm, no. I mean, not really. Their audience is 75,000, 70,000, whatever it is, 50,000, something like that on Instagram. And their actual reach is less than that on per post basis. So, not really. And it's not like this is a secret. There's pictures all over Instagram, Twitter, all over the place that these cards are poor. Like, the
Oh,
quality is bad.
I've seen 3 cards where you can see the player on the next card.
Yeah. I mean,
It's cut so bad.
and that's the thing. It's like, what am I supposed to do? Like, you can try to contact Panini, but good fucking luck with that.
Nope, they don't
People,
respond.
yeah, they won't respond. Yeah,
They suck.
so, in my opinion, the faster that we can get somebody to buy Panini and actually clean it up, the better. Because otherwise, they are literally going to print until they run out of ink and not give a fuck, because they're just continuing to make as
But
much money as possible.
what are they gaining by printing shitty stuff? I mean, are they saving money somehow by not
Probably.
going through?
The printers run faster. There's less defects that are thrown out. I mean,
Okay.
if I had to take a guess, based on what I understand about printing, is that you have to run print like when there's mass printing going on. It's a matter of how fast the printers run. So the faster you run the printers, the more cards you can print, the less time it takes. And then also, when somebody sorts through this stuff and they throw stuff out for defects, they have to go back and reprint. So if they're running the printers basically at warp speed and nobody's throwing anything out for defects, because there's no accountability and there's no way for them to get punished for this, then why would they make any kind of effort?
Well, no,
Like,
especially if you're saving money by having less people review the
yeah.
product. You're not. I mean, listen, I don't know anything about these machines, but I'm sure they need to be oiled and recalibrated and blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
But
but it's 2022. If you wanted to, it's not 1983 with
no,
dot
we've seen
matrix
it. I
printers.
know what you're gonna say. We've seen it. We've seen gem rates through the roof.
Yeah,
If they want to make cards with high gem, pristine gem rates, they can do it. We've
yeah.
seen it.
Let's
It can be done.
rewind to 2018. Like 2018, there's literally cards in Tops and Panini that have gem rates of 80% plus. 80% plus, some of these cards, and they're popular cards. Some of the Acuñas, the Otanis, you go into Topps Chrome, and obviously the Luca and the Trays. I mean, some of the gem rates on this is insane. And so it's possible. And that was 4 years ago. Technology and other things are better now. So, there's no excuse for this.
Well, it goes back to my conspiracy theory that they want to bring down the PSA 10 and gem pop of every grading company down on your big time cards.
Fine, then print it a little bit off center. Don't print the goddamn thing on the next card and I get half of one player and half of another.
Nah, just freaking print like you normally do. Don't manipulate. It still ruins it for me.
Yeah, it ruins the experience. If I'm gonna spend $1,500 on a box, I want cards that are gonna at least be close. Like, at least get it close. Like, if you're opening this thing up and there's literally a little sliver on one side and just a fat other side, it's awful. It's just a terrible experience. And
And and and just for the record, I don't think as many people, because I think more people are embarrassed to post that they spent all this money and got crap cards. But on the back end of that, going back to our last segment too, the same thing applies. Like, do you know how many retail boxes and hobby boxes get opened by breakers and individuals, and you never see the hits because it just sucks? Like the
I'm,
to your to
I'm sure
right all
all
the
the
yeah
time.
billions 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 get open. You only see the good stuff. So to your point earlier about the breakers, they get super excited about a big hit because that clip's gonna get shared and spread and whatever. But do you know how many boxes they open where there's crap?
Oh
You know how
yeah,
many
I mean
retail boxes get
these
open?
these
98% of retail sucks.
these big guys like
Period.
Pull Kings and Backyard and Pull Wax and Platinum and all that. These guys are breaking 15, 20 boxes a night easy, like cases a night easy. And those all have 10, you're talking 100 to 150 boxes per big breaker. And then you see maybe 4 or 5 posts of big stuff. And so you're talking a very, very small percentage. I mean, we're beating a dead horse at this point as far as just, something has to change, or there's, the longevity of this will eventually run out of gas. And prices, we talked about it last week as far as the state of the hobby. Most things are down 20 to 40% as far as singles. And, at some point, the NFT crypto market is going to rebound. And when that does, that is going to pull more money out of the hobby. There is no quality issues with NFTs or crypto as far as them being of a certain quality. It's just more a matter of whether or not they'll retain their value. But if you get another round or another leg where money gets pulled out of sports cards and goes in somewhere else, I mean, you're going to see another downward leg. You're going to see another continued crash, and all the value that the hobby has built up over the last couple of years is going to disappear. I mean, until there's some semblance of homeostasis that comes back in where people can afford to buy boxes again and people get excited about this shit, other than ripping it open, and if they don't pull something massive, then all the cards just get chucked and they don't care. They'll go
Yeah.
find another lottery somewhere else.
Even our overpriced hometown, we were blessed enough to have a card shop right in the town we grew up in, right? And he was overpriced as shit. Don't get me wrong, but 10, 15 years ago, I could get almost any box I wanted for under 150 bucks.
Yeah.
Even the good stuff.
Right.
And you didn't feel bad about getting a dud box. In fact, that you still expected some dud boxes, a lot of dud boxes, but it didn't hurt. Like, okay, I'll collect the set. I'll collect this insert set because I can't do anything with it.
Yeah. Well, 100.
Now you
Yeah.
$500. It's like, oh,
$150 kick to the face is a lot easier to take than a $1,500 kick to
you
the
would get
face.
Topps Chrome boxes all day, $80, $90, $110. Now forget it. Jumbo's $900. I mean, it's just insane.
And $900 is cheap compared to some of this other stuff.
Not when you get 4 relief pitcher autos out of your 5 that sell for $3 each.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, we've done enough curmudgeoning right now. Any other comments on Topps or Panini basketball?
No, I hope maybe what you saw earlier, that little price decrease or marked down already. You usually this early after release, most of those products actually creep up a little bit if the demand is crazy. You don't normally see them come down. And maybe someone who knows basketball and football a little better than me, especially basketball, would have a counterpoint to that. But generally speaking, if a product is hot a week or two after release, those boxes are already higher if they're still not sold out.
Yeah. I mean that's definitely it'll
And
be
that's
interesting.
fact. So if I don't know when that price got marked down, but if it's marked down, I wonder if that's something about their total volume of sales.
I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, we'll have to see in a week.
Yep. I'm trying to pull up some numbers here so at least we can give people some who to look for um in these boxes or breaks if people are looking for stuff. Obviously, people know if you've listened to our podcast, basketball is never our strong suit. Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green, Scotty Barnes, Franz Wagner, Evan Mobley. Who's the white guy, the white Australian guy on the Oklahoma City? I can't remember his name. But I mean, I guess the big ones you have, Cade, Jalen Green, Scotty Barnes, Franz Wagner on the Magic, Mobley on Cleveland, Davian Mitchell on Sacramento, Trey Mann, Oklahoma City. I tell you what, man, going into next year, Oklahoma City is going to be the team you want for breaks. And that's going to lead me into a quick hot take, something I thought of for some reason, just a random thought. So number 2 pick in this year's draft was Chet Holmgren for Oklahoma City. And I'm gonna preface my hot take with a disclaimer. This disclaimer is based purely on speculation. It's based purely on opinion. This is not meant to be any sort of political statement, racial statement, or anything else. It's just
Oh
a
boy,
it's
now I'm scared.
yeah, it's just an opinion.
Where are we going with this?
So Chet Holmgren, for those of you who don't know, went second in the NBA draft this year. He got drafted to Oklahoma City. He is white and he is American. And I can't remember the last time there was a white American superstar in the NBA. You had guys like Kevin Love and some other guys that were good, Tyler Hero and some of these guys, they weren't superstars. And Oklahoma City has had a ton of picks. They have a young team. If they gel and they have any sort of playoff run and Holmgren becomes a superstar in the NBA, I think he will market correct Luka. Provided Luka still continues, if he continues to do what he's doing, play well in the regular season, go 2 or 3 rounds into the playoffs and not win anything. And if this happens over the next couple of years and Holmgren becomes a bona fide top 20 player in the NBA, he will market correct and take some of Luka's market share.
I was going to say, by market correct, you mean diminish.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. He will eat into some of Luka's market share. People will potentially buy Chet Holmgren versus Luka, because if Luka just continues to be that good player, yes, he is 100% the future of the NBA. But if he doesn't win anything, and there's another guy in the NBA that steps up and becomes a superstar, that's a white American basketball player, I think he will take some of Luka's sports card market share away. And it's basically, I can't tell you the last time you've had 2 white guys that are considered superstars. Yes, you have Jokic in there as well. But I mean, both of these guys are foreign born players. There hasn't been an American, maybe since Larry Bird, who's been like an absolute stud in the NBA that's American. That's white.
Interesting. Yeah, I never would have thought about that. So that's an interesting take. What I can tell you though is Chet Holmgren had his own Tops Online exclusive of some kind of card release even before he got drafted. So
Yeah.
when it came out, I was like, I have no idea who that is. So
Yeah.
I didn't bother. But once I heard about all the hype and was watching his highlights and the draft and such, like, oh, so he must be pretty good if he had his own online card exclusive before being drafted.
If he puts on a little bit of weight, because right now he's 7 foot, 195 pounds, so he's a freaking twig. But if he puts on a little, but he can shoot the 3. If he puts on a little bit of weight and can play ball, and any of the picks that Oklahoma City has pan out, and those guys can play and get a team going and actually start to win games and potentially make the playoffs, and he is leading this effort, I personally think you will get a lot of people that buy Luka that will start to buy him instead.
So
Yes,
there's
and NBA is a global product, but at the same time, a good portion of that comes from the United States. And this is not. I'm not stating anything that's crazy here. Most of the sports card market is white people, and so if there is a white American player, they collectors will gravitate to him. It's just the way it is. And
Now,
once again, this is not meant to be racial in any way. It's just you can see it with facts. Anytime there is these types of players that emerge, fans flock and gravitate to that.
now clarify the comparison for me, because isn't Doncic Slovenian or something?
Yeah, he's not American.
Okay, I got
I'm
you. All
saying
right,
Holmgren is
I got you.
American, born in
Yeah, yeah.
America. And Jokic is a white guy, but he is also Eastern European of some variety. So, if he's Holmgren is American, if he becomes an NBA superstar, kids that are following the hobby and basketball will gravitate to him because, he's American.
Yeah, I can see that.
And, so it's there's a lot that has to happen between now and when he will take market share away from Luca. But it could be 3 or 4 years from now. But in 3 or 4 years from now, if Luca has not won a title, and the Mavericks don't look like they're continuing to build towards the title, so far Cuban hasn't really brought in anybody that's gonna be another star to play with Luca. He just becomes that good regular season player, but he doesn't go down as the greatest of all time until he wins something.
Well, if every homegrown card is off centered, then he's gonna have a heck of a lot less PSA 10s than Luca. You might be reaching, guy.
No, that would actually be better because then the PSA
Yeah, because
10s
people
would
would
be
buy them.
worth a
Yeah,
lot more
no.
money. They'd be a lot rarer.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, there's my hot take. Hopefully, I don't get canceled for that. But moving right along.
I mean, I think you told the line, but I don't
Moving
think you
right
crossed it.
along. Baker Mayfield.
Oh boy.
Baker Mayfield. The only reason why we're going to talk Baker is because he's a quarterback. Got drafted first overall, 2018. Has since left the Browns. Is now a Carolina Panther. What are your thoughts on Baker? You buy, sell, hold Baker from a hobby perspective.
From a hobby perspective, I mean, he's got to be. Now, I haven't tracked this, but he's got to be at a low right now, correct? Coming off the end of last year.
He was until about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Right. So my instinct would have been coming off a low the second. Now, I wouldn't have. I mean, to be fair, if you wanted to gamble and you really thought Deshaun Watson was going to be suspended for a year as speculated, I probably would have bought a little bit low on Baker. Not necessarily assuming he was going to be traded, but having another shot at leading the team and then ultimately being traded somewhere else and prolonging his career. So I don't know. Buy, sell, hold. If I could have gotten low enough, I would definitely have bought.
So Baker 73, so this is his Prizm, just his Prizm base, 2018 Prizm base, hit the low for the last year, but probably ever, at $73 June 19th. Last two sales sold for 116 and 115, and those were a couple days ago. But some of his other cards had massive, massive bumps, like 100%, 150%, crate people are just going ape shit to buy these cards. His Donruss card, here's a perfect example. This thing sold for $23 in June. This is his Donruss base PSA 10. $23 June 17th. Last sale $78.
Right. So this is something we should have talked about months ago. Like the second the Browns signed Deshaun Watson, no matter what you think of him and what was going to happen with there was going to be an issue with Baker, right? So Baker's cards were going to bottom out. So yeah, at a low enough price, I would have bought enough Baker. He's still the first #1 overall. He's tough. He's a tough SOB. He's a gamer. He wants to win. He wants to play. So at that price, he was definitely a buy. But
Yeah.
depending on if it's jumped as much as you say it's jumped, and Carolina is Carolina, I don't know if I'm hopping in now, but
Well, I mean, that's the whole thing. He goes to Carolina where they have an offense. They have two decent receivers.
until
Rob.
C-Mac is out for the year, week 3.
Oh, okay, you always got to piss on everything.
Yeah, stay on the field.
You haven't even drafted him yet in fantasy, and you're already mad.
I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole.
So they have two decent receivers with Anderson and DJ Moore. You got CMC. You got what is it, Chuba Hubbard, as well as as far as the running back. Their offensive line isn't terrible. They got new coach. So if Baker can come in and plug in and actually win some games, there's definitely some room here, on some of his cards. Look at some of his cards. If there hasn't been a wild 3x spike, and
Yeah,
you
agreed.
you may be able to hop in and find an opportunity here where there's some room for growth. But I would be very, very cautious as far as that's concerned. We'll do a quick Baker slab war here. Do something a little different today. Go to Optic and Optic Hollow. So 2018 Optic Baker Mayfield base PSA 10 last sale $93. BGS 95 $59. SGC 10 $50, which is interesting. HGA 95 $29. I think HGA is going to be banned.
What a disaster.
I think HGA is going to be banned from slab wars from here on out. I think we're finally and permanently done with them. And then the Optic Hollow, last sale PSA 10 259 and BGS 95 150. So that's pretty interesting as far as the discrepancy there. That's a pretty large discrepancy. You don't see that usually on when the price is this low. Usually that percentage is when the price is higher, but that's a pretty big discrepancy, 259 to 150. It's almost half. So and 259 for that card isn't terrible, but I would be very cautious as far as buying Baker. Baker didn't really prove that he could win last year. The Browns' offensive line was good. They had Chubb, but I mean, I guess they were run first and didn't really have much for wide receivers. So you never know. Baker could come and be good and lead the Panthers to the playoffs. Because other than the Bucks, the Saints and the Falcons in that division are not great. So they may have a path to the playoffs if he can play well.
Yeah, they're beatable at least.
Yeah. So it's a big, big crapshoot, and
But low enough that it's maybe worth the risk.
yeah, he is definitely
Because he bottomed out.
yeah, he's definitely a crapshoot. If you want to take a risk on a quarterback, go for it. But otherwise, as I said, it's a big, big crapshoot. All right. Anything else, Baker?
No guy. Training camp starting a couple weeks here.
Yes, I am very much excited about that. First
I gotta
preseason
start
game.
studying.
Yeah, first preseason game, August 3rd, August 4th, something like that. So, we're less than a month away from football. Okay, so here we go. We have 2 Peanut Gallery questions this week, which is awesome. If you have any questions you want us to answer on the show, please send us an email, info@sportscardadvantage.com. All right, one of the first question. What's your thoughts on Oneil Cruz of the Pittsburgh Pirates? I personally love the guy and have been collecting him. Is he overhyped or worth looking into?
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with he's been personally collecting him, so he's already got amassed a nice chunk of his cards. So, I mean, listen, it's hard to sell him right now, hitting a $190. But again, he's not turning 24 till next year. The dude's 6'7". He just looks awkward playing shortstop, but boy, is that guy I mean, he's an athlete. The guy can move. He's got a real good, a decent power grade, in that, I always talk about the scouting grades and that 20 to 80 scale. So you can use things like Fangraphs and Baseball America, and MLB has their scouting tools. So that's something I use in terms of, is somebody overhyped or not. The overall grade on an Oneil Cruz is a 55, and to put that in perspective, 50 on that 20 to 80 scale is considered major league average. So if his overall grade's a 55, and again, with for what it's worth, he's a 55. I mean, the guy can become anything or nothing. But yeah, as far as scouts are concerned, he's slightly above major league average.
Does he hit for power?
His power grade's a 60 out of the 80, so it's considered plus. He's got good power, but it's 6'7" with that frame. I hope you have plus power. But he's an exciting player. He's a Pirate. If you look at the Beckett.com checklist, he's got over 900 cars already in the checklist. So if you're a fan of his, then collect them, go for it. Is he overhyped? I mean, I think his size and people, try to make, the Yankees just played the Pirates, so there's that image going around of him standing next to Aaron Judge. They're both 6'7", so that's pretty crazy. But listen, his Bowman Chrome 2022 rookie card auto is like $400. His 2016 Bowman Chrome first auto is two and a quarter.
Are these
Uh,
high or low? Give me some reference
I,
here.
I I consider those pretty high still, considering now it's a small sample size that he's put on the field in 2022 so far. Uh, but I'd anticipate, is he overhyped? Yeah, probably a little bit. But at the same time, if you're already collecting him and you love the guy, keep buying him, keep collecting him, trade for him. Wait till the off season. Don't buy anything during the season. Wait till the off season. If he hits barely over 200 for the season, you're gonna get some deals, in December, January for sure.
And
Uh,
and
the only thing that concerns me is he strikes out a lot. He struck out one in every four minor league at bats, and he's striking out one in every three and a half major league at bats. So again,
that ain't good.
it's his first,
Yeah, that's 150 to
major,
180 strikeouts a year.
yeah, which is a lot. I mean, you're not quite in Adam Dunn territory, but you're getting there.
Yeah, I mean that's as a shortstop. Isn't he hitting as fast as he is? Isn't he hitting somewhere towards the top of the lineup?
I believe he is, but I
And
think he's hitting 191. He only has three home runs, but I think he has a bunch of stolen bases.
two,
Oh, he only has two.
two.
Well,
That
it's
that
probably,
that
yeah. To,
that,
to
that
be
was
fair, I guess it's hard to steal bases if you don't get on base.
yeah. That was gonna be my next question. Isn't he supposed to be fast as hell? I mean, but he only has two stolen bases.
Uh yeah, I mean, he's fast for his size, but his overall grade is slightly above major league average as far as speed.
Yeah, for some reason I thought they were like he's like insanely fast.
I think it's more he's pretty agile and quick for his size, but listen, he's not going anywhere as long as he can he can show some promise over the next couple of years. I mean, he's on the Pirates. He's not going anywhere. He's playing.
Yeah.
People come to see him. He can be an exciting player. So listen, my advice to him, because the question wasn't directed in terms of an investment standpoint, is collect the hell out of him. You love the guy, collect him.
So then, as always, I will ask from an investment standpoint, and/or if you had any cards that you recommend that you'd get for him, with him, what would those be?
They would be wait for his first auto and his 2022 Bowman Chrome rookie card logo auto to bottom a little bit in the offseason.
Got it. And to give you an idea as far as how fast he is, running the bases, Cruz was running 31 and a half feet per second, which is faster than Tyreek Hill's fastest sprint at 31.4 feet per second.
Yeah.
So
So to be fair, the speed slash run grade that I think is in the scouting report factors in. I think reading outfielders. Just general baseball knowledge, not necessarily just straight sprint speed.
yeah, I mean, if he's faster than Tyreek Hill, or not, I mean, same speed as Tyreek Hill, I mean, he's moving.
Yeah. The only thing that worries me, and it's the same thing that as a Yankee fan worries me about Judge when he's 35 plus years old, is how's the body going to hold up at 6'7"?
Yeah, I mean, but Cruz has a ways to go to get there.
Yeah, I agree. I have a feeling Cruz may end up in the outfield though, because
Yeah, that
because
was
I think bending over for thousands of ground balls every day during the course of a year is going to pose to be a orthopedic problem.
yeah, that was going to be my next question as far as whether or not there's a Tatis situation that happens where they move to the outfield.
I mean, I know nothing about his fielding ability, but either I would say first base or the outfield.
Okay. All right, we have one more question, and then we will wrap up for today. Have I missed the window on Julio Rodriguez? If not, what card should I buy for long term hold?
I like it. Long term hold, my favorite. Not what can I sell it for next week.
Obviously, this question did not come from me.
Yeah, no, you're trying to sell yesterday.
Yeah.
Um, no, Julio Rodriguez. So we talk about all the time. We look at some of the charts and we study past sale values just to gain general knowledge of a player. And I was looking at his 2019 Bowman Chrome, a bunch of his first autos and some of his base refractor and not as scarce cards. And the lines over the last 180 days to a year were generally flat, meaning they hadn't spiked a tremendous amount despite the kind of flashes he's showing you in this season. Now, to be fair, on some of those lines in the last week, they've started to climb, but I don't think you haven't missed the boat on him. I mean, missing the boat would have been, you should have bought him back in 2019, 2020, 18 months ago. So if you're considering that jump in price from 18 months ago to now is missing the boat, well, then yeah, I agree. He's very expensive. But in terms of he's been up for as long as he has this year, and he's doing relatively well. Yet the card market or the secondary pricing hasn't really spiked crazy for what he's doing. I would have thought it'd gone up more.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean he's on pace for 30 home runs and
and he's stealing bags, and he's
yeah.
exciting, and everyone loves him, and he's 21 years old. Yeah, he's got a lot to want to buy into. Um, but as far as long term hold, I mean, I would say anything right now is up for grabs because I haven't seen that big spike I would have expected already in the midst of the season. Now, the only concern is as it becomes increasingly clear that he may be the rookie of the year winner and his prices are going to continue to climb throughout the rest of this year until that's announced, you may want to hold off from outright buying until you get into the a little bit of the off season, you know, drops. But listen, he's 21 and he looks really damn good. So if you're a believer in him and you're a fan and you're looking for long term hold, I don't think the prices are crazy now on some of his stuff, but like anything right now, the scarcer the card and the higher the grade on his. I mean, they're through the roof. They're not touchable. I mean, we're
Yeah.
talking thousands of dollars on some of his higher end stuff. But listen, if you're a believer in who he is, and I've done this with some of the other stars in terms of Acuna and Soto and Tatis, it's not wrong or bad to accumulate some second, third, fourth year cards uh, of a guy and get some of the lower parallels or color parallels, lower number cards of a guy. So, for example, his first Bowman's 2019. Go after the 2020 and the 2021s and the 2022s for the long term holds because they're not as desirable and they're not as pricey as the first Bowman 2019, but you can get good deals on them. And if he becomes an all time great legend, people will still be after those second and third, those early career cards that are low numbered and scarce.
All right. There you go. Cool. I think that's it for today. We have crossed our 1 hour minimum mark for the week. So
You have nothing to add on Julio
I have
Rodriguez or Oneil Cruz guy?
not a damn thing to add on either one. Oh, do you have slab war numbers for Julio Rodriguez?
Oh yeah, we got a small slab wars on him. We were just looking at his base first 2019 Bowman Chrome first. Got a PSA 10 coming in at 187. A SGC 10 outsold the BGS 9.5. A SGC 10 131, BGS 9.5 72,
Ugh.
and a CSG 9.5 66.
That BGS 9.5, is that anywhere near the same date as the PSA 10?
I didn't scroll far, so I mean, I'm not sure to be on to be fair, but I mean, listen, that PSA 10 is 6600.
The
So
pop is 6600, but I mean the fact that BGS 9.5 is less than 50% is crazy. But
yeah,
I
I'll see
mean,
if I have it right here. But yeah, it's a little sad to be honest.
that's what we've been seeing though is like more and more people are fading on BGS cards at this point, and SGC has come up with a lot more volume than BGS at this point as far as what's being graded, and so they've put themselves in the number two spot as far as reputation and as far as value, and it's
Did you
on
just say CSG has moved into number two?
no SGC.
Oh, SGC.
Yeah. It's not my personal opinion, as far as like I personally have not a lot of love for them, but at the same time, I'm a numbers person, and the numbers speak for themselves. I mean, if you look
Sure.
at how much volume SGC is doing over BGS, and you look at the comparison of prices on your BGS 9.5 and SGC 10s, it's the numbers are there. And BGS isn't doing a goddamn thing about it. We've talked about the new CEO that's been brought in, his first move was to buy a fucking VHS grading company. And it's just like they're not making any moves to do anything with Beckett as a grading company.
Listen, I want my copy of Platoon from 1986 graded. So
Then,
screw you.
then you go right ahead and send it in to your favorite grading company.
Movie of the year.
In your eyes, it's still 1987.
I think it beat out Top Gun for movie of the year. I could be wrong.
Probably not. I would have to say probably not. Anyway, all right. On that note, we are wrapping up. Once again, if you have any questions you want on the show, send us an email, info@sportscardadvantage.com. We are interviewing Chris from Nash Cards this coming Tuesday. So if you want any questions to ask him, please send us those questions as well. Upcoming schedule, just to reiterate, that episode with Chris from Nash will air next week. Bunk is doing his solo episode the week after. Bunk will be at National the week after that. We will be off completely. I don't think we've missed an episode or missed a week in a year. So I still might try to hobble my ass down to the office and record an episode just so we don't miss one, but we'll see. Yeah, that's it. Anything else to add for the fine folks?
No, sir.
All right.
57 done.
Have a wonderful week, everybody, and we'll see you next week.